Shut up and take my money.
We don't do that here.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
Get out of my sight.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Damn. Warner Bros. Told Snyder to build a DC universe, and when he does that, they just go,
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no.
So the Snyder Cut has been a success so far. Over the weekend, 1.8 million households watched it in the United States, a record for a non-holiday weekend. Also, it's doing numbers in Russia and other countries around the world, through the various service providers. In comparison, Falcon and the Winter Soldier's first episode garnered 1.7 million, which set the record for highest premiere on Disney+. Also, Google searches for Justice League is more popular now than it was back in 2017. Also, according to Fandom's Twitter page, wikis like Darkseid has 573% more page views this time compared to 2017, along with Anti-Life Equation, and since Thursday, DC's community received 2.5 million page views, 55% more than the first 4 days of Justice League in 2017, and the DCEU wiki has 62% more page views now than it did in 2017. Basically, what all that means is more people are interested in Justice League now than they were 4 years ago, and has received a lot of internet traffic. And I usually don't care about Rotten Tomato scores, but the reviews have been very positive, and unlike Wonder Woman 1984, it hasn't dropped by like 30-40% once everyone else got to see it. Let's bring it up to show that this is definitely one of the most well-received Snyder movies in a long time. So after finally seeing Snyder's vision, and with the massive cliffhanger at the end, it has people wanting more and sharing the hashtag #RestoreTheSnyderverse. But Warner Bros. CEO was asked a few questions by Variety, and one of them was regarding the Snyderverse. And basically they won't be continuing it and are more focused on their other DC projects. Also, they won't be releasing David Ayer's cut of Suicide Squad. This is a bit shocking for a lot of people, especially since they confirmed Wonder Woman 3 only a few days after Wonder Woman 1984 premiered on HBO Max. But I guess this isn't too surprising considering Walter Hamada, head of DC Films, described the Snyder Cut as a cul-de-sac, road that leads nowhere, and they already had plans for the future of DC, which so far seems to be announcing more cast members and characters for the Flash movie. Seriously, just stop talking about it and film the damn thing. Of course, this has fans upset, but as the comment section of my Snyder Cut review says, ready the hashtags.
We will use the old ways.
Basically, fans gotta be just as vocal with wanting to see Justice League 2 as much as they were when they wanted to see the Snyder Cut. Luckily, since people have now seen Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's easier to get people on board with a sequel, either in the form of a movie or a series. I would like to mention that canceling your HBO Max subscription isn't a smart thing to do, because they could just say, look, we released the Snyder Cut and it had a negative effect. Also, Snyder himself commented on a Vero post saying that you shouldn't cancel your subscription, and instead you should just keep watching it and get others to watch it. You want the viewing numbers to rise. Hopefully them continuing the Snyderverse becomes a reality, but what I want to do is go over the different movies and projects that could come out of Zack Snyder's Justice League, because it set up the possibility for many different projects. And yeah, that was the goal, but it's amazing seeing the amount of possibilities and how Warner Bros. Didn't follow up on any of them, besides Aquaman, and that Flash movie is coming eventually. So let's get into it and take a look at the future projects that we probably won't see. First off, and the most obvious one, are the two follow-up Justice League movies that were supposed to happen. It clearly set up Darkseid to be the main antagonist of those films, and the whiteboards that were released a couple weeks ago that showed the rough ideas of what they were going for with Justice League 2 and 3 garnered a lot of attention. And you can see how they set some of those things up from those original ideas in the Snyder Cut. It's when Cyborg sees into the future. So yeah, 2 and 3 would be a no-brainer and would just complete the saga. Next will be a Cyborg movie. Like seriously, Cyborg is ready to go. They covered his origin and gave him a great character arc in the Snyder Cut. So a movie would be a no-brainer. But honestly, I think this one's probably the most unlikely to happen because of the issues between Ray Fisher and Warner Brothers that's been happening over the last couple months. I mean, he was taking off the Flash movie, so if that's any indication, I definitely don't think we're going to be seeing a Cyborg movie anytime soon. Next is the Affleck solo movie that was cancelled. This was set up perfectly. Batman completes his redemption that started at the end of BVS, and Lex Luthor tells Deathstroke who Batman is, setting up the solo Affleck movie that was supposed to happen. The actor who plays Deathstroke, Joe Mango, has revealed details about the cancelled project, saying they were going to take inspiration from the Arkham games, and try to pull off fight scenes like the ones in Arkham Origins between Deathstroke and Batman. Also, Batgirl was going to make an appearance too. The whole idea of the movie was that Deathstroke was going to use the fact that he found out Batman's secret identity to his advantage and start dismantling his life. I would love to see this movie. It was set up so perfectly. And speaking of Deathstroke, a standalone movie or TV series would have been great. This was also an idea that was on the table at one point. There was going to be a Deathstroke movie and it would be directed by the guy who did the Raid movies, Gareth Evans. It would have been a roughly 2-hour origin story, taking inspiration from South Korean noir films. But because everything happened with the Justice League back in 2017, Warner Brothers shut the project down. I would love to see this idea come back in the form of a movie or a TV series. It would be so badass. One of DC's best villains getting his own show? Perfection. Oh well, at least we got Peacemaker. Next would be a Martian Manhunter TV series. Harry Lennox himself has actually been pushing for this on Twitter. He only has 2 scenes in the Snyder Cut, one of which Snyder was trying to film before he was told not to, so when they did additional photography a couple months ago, he was able to do it. And the second scene is at the very end where he talks to Bruce, and that was supposed to be a Green Lantern. But since Warner Bros. Didn't want him to use Green Lantern, he instead used Martian Manhunter. And a fan had a cool idea that Harry Lennox himself co-signed on. Why not have a series following Martian Manhunter's journeys through the decades since he came to Earth? And hell, every couple episodes they could switch to time periods, and since he's a shapeshifter, he can just change his appearance. A lot of possibilities with this one. Next up is an Atom movie. Ryan Choi is in the movie and works with Victor's father, and after he dies, he takes over as head of Star Labs. His role here is very minor, but Snyder did have plans for him in the future Justice League movies. I mean, Darkseid is coming, so you're gonna need as many superpowered beings you can get. And another one is the New Gods movie that was cancelled. Darkseid, Steppenwolf, Desaad, Granny Goodness. The New Gods have so much lore, it'd be fun to explore that. They could go over the Fourth World, New Genesis, Apocalypse, tell Darkseid's origin, back when he was Uxas and how he got the Omega effect, how he had his own mother killed so he can take the throne of Apocalypse for himself, go into Granny Goodness and the Female Furies. Or maybe they can go into Steppenwolf's betrayal, and what caused him to be cast out and exiled, and forced to claim worlds in Darkseid's name. This would also be a great way to introduce Mr. Miracle. So yeah, the lore of the New Gods is fucking awesome. And finally, the one I see most people talking about is a TV series taking place during the Knightmare timeline with Jared Leto's Joker and Ben Affleck's Batman, as well as other villains and heroes that survived Darkseid's invasion. In the conversation with Joker and Batman, Joker hints at several things, and mentions multiple futures that Bruce has been seeing, different timelines, and it seems he always fails. And also somehow he needs Joker to be able to fix it, as well as help from other villains like Deathstroke. So it'd be interesting to have a series taking place in this Knightmare world, where we see different timelines and events. Because if you look at Superman at the very end of that, he's not wearing his black suit, he's wearing his blue one, showing that this is just another timeline that Bruce keeps seeing, because he wakes up immediately after. And Jared Leto himself said he would love to come back, but only with Zack Snyder. There's so many questions about this one scene that would be great to explore, and I think a series would work better than a movie, because we'll have way more time to develop this world, and to experiment and show different Nightmare timelines. This is easily one of the most talked about ideas and projects that people just want to see. Jared Leto's Joker, Ben Affleck's Batman, in the Nightmare world. Oh, also I forgot to mention, a movie showcasing the death of Robin would be very interesting to see too, which is something else that Joker mentions in this scene with Batman, and even taunts him about it too. And the death of Robin in this world was something that they wanted to explore at some point, but obviously that got cancelled before it even got off the ground. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Warner Bros. Doesn't seem to have any interest in exploring the Snyderverse, or possibly any of these other projects, but these are all a bunch of different ideas and projects that they can do. And most of this was already set up in 2017. The only new scenes are the Martian Manhunter ones, and the Nightmare scene at the very end. So 4 years ago, most of these projects were already set up and ready to go. Crazy to think that they didn't capitalize on any of them. But anyway guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, go and drop a like on it. And go ahead and leave a comment and let me know, which one of these projects would you like to see the most? And what other projects do you think can come out of the Snyder Cut? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
Oh my god, you're so cute and funny.
Thanks.
Can I crush your balls?
Yeah.